Jill with Om Shanti Healing. I am a healer and high vibrational teacher for the folks in northern Colorado. So I've been practicing healing for quite a while, and over the years I've developed a few videos on just some self-help stuff that I have found value in and want to share. So, given the circumstances of everything going on, I thought that we could talk about the topic of fear. Now, if you were to take those 4 letters, F-E-A-R, and use them as an acronym, I want you to think about for a moment what 4 words resonate with you to describe your version of what fear feels like. For me, I gave it some thought. I've journeyed through many years of anxiety disorder and depression that has evolved into illness over the years, and happy to say I'm all healed up now, but I had my journey too, through fear and through dark places. So I learned through those experiences that fear is surrounded by resistance. Right? So you look at fear and you hate it. You want it to go away, right? You don't want to be fearful. You don't want to be scared of anything. So my acronym that I thought of is the failure to evolve above resistance. And to me, that describes what fear is in my world, right? So we want to go with the flow of things, right? And just let life happen and have everything go smoothly. But sometimes things scare us, and sometimes we get hit with bad news, and sometimes someone feels threatened, right? Or whatever the scenario is, the fear builds resistance in our system immediately. So I want to talk a little bit about that in further detail. And just kind of break it down a bit for you to maybe bring some softness and some understanding to the word fear, right? I don't want to invoke fear in anybody. I don't want to create stress for any of you. I just want to talk about it and associate what it might feel like for you. So weakness, right? Vulnerability. You become the target if you're scared, right? You're open and exposed, and so just raw to someone to attack, right? So that's why we hate the fear, because we don't want to be that way. It takes our power away. It makes us feel like we don't have control of what's going on, right? So when we have a lack of control, we can be easily manipulated, right? We have a lack of power and we're living in a state of fear. We could be convinced of certain things or manipulated in a way to do or act or behave in a certain way, and we all know the people in the world that invoke fear for us, right? And that trigger that feeling of being exposed and open to the world, right? And fear's been used to manipulate people since the beginning of people, right? And even animals do it to claim their turf or a mate, right? With a competitive, another male figure in the herd, they're gonna invoke fear using body language and sound and aggression to scare off a potential male that's going to steal their mates, right? So there's fear that goes, fear is used all the time, but maybe we don't need to necessarily associate it with something bad, right? But we'll get to that in a moment. So let's talk about kind of what happens to the body when we are hit with something that scares us. Okay, so we are energy, right? Everything is energy. All humans, all living things, all inanimate objects hold a vibration. Whether it's low frequency or high, we all hold a vibration. When we are hit with something that scares us, that holds a vibration. Someone says something on TV that creates fear, installs anxiety. That message holds a vibration. And then the way we process it holds a vibration. And we process it as a vibration before we can process it with any of our senses, right? So it goes through all the layers of our auric field and comes at us physically last, but it's like a millisecond that happens in. So we get hit with it energetically. Low frequency is fear. Low frequency. High frequency is joy and love and gratitude. Low frequency is fear and anger and vengefulness and things of that nature that are more on the dark side. So we get hit with this energy and we get triggered immediately on an emotional level. That hits us first. So or we gasp, right? Or we get wide-eyed, or we can't breathe, or we get fearful immediately, right? And that's the emotional trigger that happens first. And then on a mental level, we start to spin. Our head is spinning with the how did this happen? What does this mean? And I'm so confused and this is scary and I wasn't expecting this. This hit me out of nowhere. You have the racing thoughts of trying to process that information in the attempt to make a plan, right? So in the process of the mind spinning and all these racing thoughts coming into your space very quickly, your physical body responds. So first we have a nervous system response. We physically clench. The autonomic nervous system triggers a rapid heartbeat, right? We start to breathe heavier, right? So the nervous system clenches and the muscles tighten and the blood vessels constrict and we get ready for that fight or flight response. All the blood rushes into into the limbs in attempt to fight or flight, right? So we get scared. We might have tingling in the fingers. It's a physical response. We might feel floaty in the head. We might get dizzy spells. We might feel tightness in the throat. All kinds of physical reactions, nauseated, tightening of the stomach muscles. Everything shifts so quickly when we get hit with something that's scary, right? So we have all these physical responses to something fearful that just kind of exacerbates all of it. And it's not our fault. It's just the way that the human body responds to a threat, right? So then we panic after that. Oh my gosh, my heart rate is going really fast. I can't swallow. My breathing is heavy. I can't breathe. One or the other, right? And my stomach is nauseated. I can't feel my fingertips. Things like that start to happen that make us. That's all part of the panic process, but it just exacerbates all of it. And then we feel helpless, right? So helpless and hopeless, and we freak out about that, and the panic gets worse because we don't want to be put in a threatening situation that could potentially hurt us or threaten our lives or the people that we love. So we develop a plan. We immediately start to try to solve the problem in a place of fear, which doesn't work very well. But that's just how we do it, right? Because we're survivors. Everything alive is going to try to survive somehow by creating that plan. But creating a plan in a place of fear often does not result in much success. Okay, so then we're in the planning process, and then there's the resistance to the fear. We have to make the plan because we don't want the fear, and we're resisting the fear. We want the fear to go away. We have to make the plan to make the fear go away, and we resist. And we keep resisting because everybody wants to be happy, right? We don't want to be threatened or in pain or in fear, so we resist. And what resists persists. So that puts you in a state of perpetual spinning out and fear-based thinking and getting you stuck in a fight or flight survival type of thought process that you can very easily get stuck in. And if you're kind of prone to anxiety anyway, and you get hit with something fearful, it's can be really hard for some of us to shake it off, right? And get out of that loop where we get stuck in the spinning and we go down the rabbit hole and we get stuck in the dark place and we get fearful and it just comes and it keeps coming and it doesn't go away. And that ruins our immune system, right? Over time, it could cause a lot of physical damage to our body, to our organs, to our nervous system. You know, it could create disease, it could create cancer over time, over long periods of time, if you get stuck in these cycles for years, right? That's how I developed autoimmune disease. I got stuck in that cycle for most of my marriage and couldn't get out of it, and I got sick. So, happily divorced now. So we want to get control of these triggers, right? And we want to understand the why they happen, right? So there's lots of reasons. Genetics is one of them. We could be born with our mother's innate ability to catastrophize everything. We can be imbalanced nutritionally. You know, we can be, it could be genetically, we could just be genetically embedded through ancestry of people that we never even met. It could be part of the birth process that traumatized us. There's endless scenarios as to why we could get stuck in a place of fear. But happy news is that with mindset, we can also move out of fear. Okay, so I want you to understand that fear is an emotion, just like happiness or love or gratitude. And like I said, it holds a vibration, right? So when you get stuck in a low vibration, having the self-awareness of that your vibration is low is a good place to start to try to make a shift. Okay, and I can help you with the shifts through the work that I do on my meditations, on my YouTube channel. Look me up and take a peek. Okay, we go through processes, life circumstances mess us up, right? We go through grief. We lose someone we love. We watch someone we adore, you know, get sick and decline over the years, you know, or something catastrophic happens. Whatever the scenario is, we can understand that those triggers that we have that are fear-based, when we look at them from kind of an outside perspective and look at the fear as if we are separate from it, helps us to disassociate with the emotional component to that fear. So in the process of being able to do that, we learn from it. Okay, so a lot of us are really afraid of fear, right? And that's what essentially anxiety disorder is. You're afraid of the panic. You are freaked out and always on guard for the next round of freak out panic mode that debilitates you, right? Panic can debilitate you. Fear can debilitate you physically, emotionally, energetically, spiritually. It's true. You have the tools inside you, though, to be able to separate that fear from the trigger. Okay? So we need to find the lesson in the moment that scares us. So we have a trigger, it scares us. We hear bad news about something, right? So we take that moment and we feel all the processes of the journey of the fear thought, right? The energy part of it, the emotional part of it, the helplessness, the hopelessness, the panic, the plan, the resistance, right? If we can kind of separate and look at that kind of part of it from an outside perspective of ourselves, it really does help you to disassociate, because that fear trigger is probably from something that happened in your past that you're recalling in the present moment. So, for example, I watch a scary movie about someone dying I don't watch scary movies for a reason. But when I did, I would have triggers of my dad dying. My dad died when I was 19 years old. He was 50. It was a very traumatic, spontaneous event that we never planned for and didn't get any closure from. So when I watch a scary movie about a father being murdered or a father abandoning their children or just straight up dying really young, if I see like a father figure in a hospital bed, in a coma, it triggers me, right? I don't watch that stuff because of those reasons. I don't watch psychological thrillers because I'm too much of an empath to handle that stuff and it triggers me. So being self-aware enough to know what triggers you is hugely powerful, and letting that fear go and realizing, oh, this moment scared the crap out of me, but it's not this actual moment. This is a repressed memory from something that happened a long time ago that I'm associating with what's happening now. So just keep that in mind, that you have control of that if you can make a separation there and find the lesson in it. The lesson is always going to be for your soul growth, for your soul spiritual growth. So think of it as not a threat, something coming at you in a bad way. Think of it as, all right, the universe is lining something up here for me to learn, right? So separating the fear from the fear will help you retain the lesson. And when you can retain the lesson, you can empower yourself to not be triggered in the future by that same scenario or something similar to it. Okay? Just want to touch upon briefly the power that you have within yourself to create healthy boundaries against fear triggers. The internet and the news are very good examples of self-inflicted fear triggers, right? We have been bombarded 24/7 since the internet was invented with catastrophe and negativity. Granted, there are beautiful things that the internet has provided us that are healthy, but either way, we have information overload, which is stressful, right? It drains our energy, it overwhelms our brain, too much stimulation, we get burnt out, and that creates stress, right? And that can create a fear-based thinking cycle that we get stuck in because it's constant overload every day. So the positive part of that is that you have control of that. Not necessarily your environmental surroundings when you're out driving around and doing your thing for the day, but how many times you look at your phone, how many times you turn the TV on or go onto the internet and immediately get bombarded with information. That is up to you. So be more self-aware when you plug in and you watch something on the internet. You watch the news, you watch the president, you watch things around the globe that you have zero control over any of that stuff. How is it making you feel? Do you get a little adrenaline rush? Or does it install happiness? Or does it install anxiety and fear? Fear could be people can kind of get addicted to the adrenaline of it. So you got to really watch that because it's not healthy. So you have the power to turn the news off, to not engage, right? And we're all guilty of it because information is power, right? We think that, right? Information is control. And it is to some extent, but when you fill your body with negative, catastrophic crap that's happening around the world that you have zero control over, you're going to have an empathetic reaction, right? You're going to feel for those people that are suffering. You're going to feel for the opinion you have that is not being resolved or listened to, right? And that is fear-inducing and stress-inducing. So just be aware of that, watch it, and turn that crap off. You know, it's like we have no control over it anyway. It comes and it goes, and the next day it's something else, you know, and it's exhausting. So just take care of yourself that way. Okay, so I want to do a guided meditation just to help you tap into where your fear sits in your body. In most cases, men have their fear-based thinking in their pelvis and in their legs, in their lower back, because they are in more of a survival state, especially if they have a family and a mortgage, you know, and their root chakras are thrown off by all of this stuff that's been happening. I see a lot of guys for pelvic pain, right side stuff. Right side is more masculine energetically. Right side is more survival energetically. And the guys are coming in with major issues in their hips and legs. Women were more heart-centered, being maternal, right? So our energy and anxiety kind of hang out in our heart, and our chest, our shoulders, and our neck, and in our jaws. So a lot of that could be linked to somewhere you hold your stress. You got to determine that on your own. We're going to go into a meditation that is going to make your whole body feel good. And you're going to be able to tune into how you're clenching your body, where your stress sits, right? When you get hit with something fear-based, there's a part of your body that seizes up immediately first, right? And you know where that is. You know where you hold it. So we're going to find that place and we're going to release it and feel a lot better. So I want you to find your headphones if you haven't already, and lay down on your bed or on the floor, wherever is comfortable for you. And we're going to place our fingers right here at the solar plexus. So where your ribs come down, I want you to put your fingers right there, okay? Because we're going to pull energy through and push it out through the fingers right into that spot. The solar plexus is our center of self-acceptance, right? We hold fear there, we hold anxiety there, we hold catastrophe there, we hold our inability to make decisions there. There's a lot going on in that center of our body that we'll talk about more as we do the meditation. So get yourself settled in, and we'll see you in just a moment. Bye-bye. Welcome to my guided meditation on releasing fear. So as I mentioned at the end of the video where we were talking, to place your hands at your solar plexus. So both hands are great right there where your fingernails are touching and your finger pads are aiming downward towards the solar plexus. And find a nice comfortable place to lay down. And let's begin. Start to take some deep breaths. We want to begin with the breath, with connecting to the flow of how we are breathing. When we are in a state of fear and anxiety, we tend to tighten up this area under our finger pads, and our breathing becomes more shallow. So as we start to engage in self-awareness, turning inward and breathing deeper, I want you to really work on expansion in this area of your body. Taking a deep breath in, invite that abdomen to inflate, creating some space around the lower part of your rib cage and behind the navel. And then as you exhale, let that belly deflate and soften into the exhale. And begin again. Deep breath in, filling up the abdomen, creating space, feeling the ribs lift a bit. And then exhale, softening the chest and ribs and letting the belly relax into the out breath. And keep going here. The solar plexus is our center energetically for self-acceptance. It is the color of yellow, and it resides right at the bottom of our sternum where your fingers are touching your body. We hold fear here. We hold anxiety. We hold a lack of self-confidence. We lack a sense of self-awareness, self-love, confidence in decision-making. All can sit here and feel a bit stuck when we are in a fearful state of mind. Our body instantaneously reacts to a thought by creating tension in the body, restriction in blood flow, tightening of the abdomen, shallow breathing. Lots of physical reactions can manifest in the body through fear-based thinking. And we're focusing in the solar plexus area because this center is a very important one to have healthy. So when you get hit with a fearful thought or experience, you have the ability to breathe freely and openly into this area and release that fear. Because after all, it's just a thought with a physical response. You can choose whether or not to be fearful of something or to let it go. So we're going to start to build vibrational frequency up in this area of our body to create momentum. So you have the tools to let that fear go in a way to do it. Okay, so let's bring awareness to the very top of your head. So the crown chakra is a great space to invite in higher knowing, higher awareness. This is our connection to God and angels and spirit guides and higher source of higher vibrational, infinite information and guidance. So I like to use the crown a lot of times in my guided meditation to create openness of the mind as we tune into higher vibrational work. So as you check in, I want you to feel that line right down the center of your scalp. Perhaps you have a part in your hair there. And I want you to feel a little bit of pressure there as you connect energetically and tune into that space. And then from there, we're going to invite energy in, and we're going to visualize a gold and yellow light just to help activate and stimulate the solar plexus with higher intentionality. The breath in, I want you to use as a gentle vacuum. And the breath out, we're going to use to gently guide and direct our energy flow in a specific way. And as you start to tune into this energy flow, you will feel that expansion as the energy just starts to open up your whole body from the very midline and work its way outward towards the surface of your skin. You will feel connection to vibration there and full awareness of your body as we continue the flow of things as we go. So a column of yellow light is going to be coming in through the crown of your head. Let's visualize that. And I want you to let that column of light come in from the very highest star. Really tune into that upper awareness above the crown of your head. That infinite space. That resource for information. Let that yellow light spiral down through the top of your head as you take a nice, slow, intentional, deep breath in. And we're going to pull that energy in very gently. And then I want you to exhale and let that energy expand from ear to ear inside your head. And use a couple breaths to really visualize and get the feel of it. Okay, and just deepening the breath, but not straining it. Keep it comfortable in your body. And we're going to breathe in, pull it in, and exhale. Let that energy travel down behind your eyes and nose and throat. And watch it disperse. Visualization is huge with intentional energy healing. So you want to watch that light move inside your body to really get deeply connected to the work that it's doing. With the next couple inhales, invite that energy in again. And exhale, make your way down into the throat and neck. So in the process of this, we're letting our head feel heavy against our pillow or the floor. Checking in that our shoulders are dropped, that our chest feels open, our neck is relaxed against something supportive. And drawing that energy in again, we're going to let that exhale travel down across the chest and shoulders. So you see we're gently filling ourselves up with this golden yellow light, opening up pathways for energy to flow. Okay, let that energy travel as you breathe down into your arms and chest. Good, and let that energy move down through your lower arms into your wrists and hands. And the idea here is to ignite the healing potential and power that you have in your hands. So feeling that energy move down into the palms of your hands, you will feel a pulsing, vibrational type of feeling. And the hands will slowly start to heat up. Because vibration is momentum, and momentum creates the heat. So with your finger pads tucked right in between the ribs at the base there, and you take several more breaths, we're going to exhale that energy out through the tips of your fingers and kind of let it flow out through the palms of your hands too. You will feel it moving once you get that vibration high enough. Okay? Set intention to breathe that energy in through the crown. Pull it in all the way down into your chest. And then exhale down the arms and out through the fingertips. And we're visualizing that gold and yellow light pouring into the solar plexus area here at the bottom of your sternum. Take some time here to feel it. Every exhale gives us an opportunity to pour that healing into our body. Be intentional, be open and allowing. Let go of control and let the healing energy fill your body. Feel it moving up and down your spine. Feel it moving into your abdomen and lower back. Set intention to guide it into your pelvis. Watch your light. Just watch it. Send it swirling around your back pain. Send it swirling around your hip pain. And then we can release our energy and let go by setting intention to release it down our legs and out through the toes. Or you can release it off the tip of your tailbone. Or you can release it through the fingertips. Whatever makes sense to you. It's all intention and it all works either way. Once we get to that space where we can feel the energy moving within us and at the surface of the skin and all around our body, we can tune into releasing the fear. So let's give ourselves a few more moments to feel that energy flow from the crown chakra to the toes. Can you feel the tingle all over your body? We're going to expand our field outward just a little bit before we start to go into the deeper work. So with the next several breaths, long inhales, long exhales, pull that light in through the crown, and from the very top of your inhale, we touch the toes with the light. So what I mean by that is, as you slowly breathe in, I want you to pull that energy in through the top of your head and guide it all the way down your legs to your feet at the very top of your in-breath. And then we pause a second before we exhale, setting intention to expand that vibrational frequency outward with an exhale. So that means we send that vibration from the front of our body, the back of our body, the sides, the feet, the crown, in all directions at the same time, like a force field, reaching out from our physical body outward. And use several breaths to get the feel of it. Breathing in to fill up completely. Pausing to set the intention. Exhale, expansion in all directions. And you will feel your energy reaching away from your physical body. And this is our auric field that we are stretching and we are reaching. And I want you to visualize a nice big bubble forming around your physical body. See this bubble as an impenetrable glass bubble, vibrating with energy. See this bubble as gold and yellow. And I want you to visualize the perimeter of this bubble as an impenetrable force field around your body. So let's give ourselves some time to set that intention and set up our protective bubble around our body. Very good. Every exhale, you can almost feel the waves of energy expanding. Can you feel it? Every out breath, we expand and create. This boundary is a protective space around your energy field that you can use at any moment you're in a situation that could potentially scare you, or just be overall way more intense than you'd like to experience. Any circumstance, you can put up your bubble and you can set intention to not let anything come into your field that's going to be fear-based or anxietal or affect you in a negative way that's going to lower this frequency. It will just bounce right off and back to that person or back to that situation. You're doing a great job. Awesome work. Let's bring our attention back to the solar plexus. So we're coming back to that space at the bottom of the ribs where our hands are resting. Now, energetically, we put fear here, anxiety here. But on a physical level, we may hold fear somewhere else. So now that we're fully tuned in to our body and really self-aware, I want you to ask yourself, when I get scared, where do I hold it? And just wait for the answer. Your body will automatically tense up or start to ache in that spot that you hold your fear. So just self-awareness and listen. Ask yourself again if you need to. Now that you've identified where, now we can release that area into softening and letting go.
Fear is a response to stimuli that affects us in a negative way. We associate fear with a lack of control and power, which makes our body clench with tension and stress. And we clench because our nervous system puts us in a state of fight or flight. And our rational mind knows that we don't really need to fight or flight in most cases of fear. But our body doesn't know the difference. The mind's a powerful tool to sabotage you or to heal you. So we're going to learn in this moment how to turn that sabotage into learning, letting go, and implementing healing and release. I want you to fully embody that feeling that you were triggered with when I asked you where you held your fear. Feel that whole area of your body that's clenching, tightening. We're going to breathe into those spots. We're going to breathe that yellow light right into that spot. We're going to fill those areas up with yellow light. And then as you exhale, we're going to consciously, intentionally soften the muscle. So maybe that means dropping your shoulders into the surface you're on. Or maybe that means relaxing your glute muscles enough so your pelvis can sink. Feel it out. Notice how tight you're clenching. Let it go. Let it go. And let it go again. Move that energy out through your hands or your tailbone or your toes, wherever you're holding it. Find that closest area of outlet to send it away from your physical body and out beyond your field. Every exhale, we let go. We know in our rational mind, the fear is just a thought. Tell yourself that. The fear is just a thought, and you have a choice to be fearful or not. You have the choice to choose fear, to take your power away. You have the choice to let that word take your power. And you also have the choice to not let that word take your power. You have the choice to keep your power. Let it go. Let it go again. Send it out on the exhale. Once you feel clear and your body is soft in this area, Now is the time to implement empowerment and healing by setting the intention to do so. Breathing in through the crown. Exhale expansion in this area. Good. Very good. Set the intention to make the choice that you have the control to choose fear or not. Choose power instead. Choose control instead. Fill your body up with these items, these words, this emotion, the feeling of the control that you can turn that fear trigger off with choice. Feel the essence of that choice, of having a choice, of being conscious of your choice. Fill this area up. Set the intention. Elevate the emotion of how you would feel if you had the choice to choose fear or not to choose fear. Embrace the essence of your power to choose no fear. Embody that feeling. Feel the release in your body and in your muscles, and even in your bones. When you choose to not be scared, feel how much stronger you feel. Feel how different that feels when you let go of feeling powerless. Can you feel your body just sinking into that feeling? Hang on to this for as long as you need to. I'll let the music play a little bit longer. Come back to this meditation anytime you need to. Take care. Embrace your badassery. You got this. Namaste.